Let me tell you about the day Marcus Aurelius woke up and already knew he might die before sunset. Not as a fear, as a fact. And he still rose, he still led, he still chose. Because that was the whole point. You have been taught to fear loss your entire life. Lose the job, and you are nothing. Lose the relationship, and you are broken. Lose your health, your money, your reputation, and somehow you have failed at being human. That is the story the world sold you. And most people bought it without reading a single word of the fine print. But there were men, real men, men who commanded empires and endured chains, who understood something the modern world has completely forgotten. They understood that loss is not the enemy. Attachment to what was never truly yours, that is the enemy. The Stoics called it amor fati, love of fate. Not tolerance of what happens, not grudging acceptance. Love. The kind of love that looks at pain directly and says, I will not flinch. I will not collapse. I will use this. But here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Most of you are not failing because life is too hard. You are failing because you have spent years building your identity on things that were always temporary. The approval of people who barely know your name. The comfort of situations that were never designed to last. The illusion of control over a world that has never once asked for your permission. Epictetus was a slave. He owned nothing. He controlled nothing. Not his body, not his chains, not whether tomorrow would even come. And yet he became one of the most powerful thinkers who ever lived. Not because life gave him power, because he stopped waiting for life to give him anything at all. He said this, and I want you to really hear it. Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. Read that again, slowly. It is not the divorce that destroys you. It is the story you keep telling yourself about what the divorce means. It is not the failure that breaks you. It is the meaning you attach to failure, that somehow it defines you, that somehow you are the sum of your worst moments and nothing more. Here is what Stoicism actually asks of you. Not to be cold, not to be emotionless, not to walk through life like a stone wall pretending nothing touches you. That is not strength. That is avoidance wearing the costume of discipline. Real Stoicism says, feel everything. Let grief in. Let anger in. Let the weight of disappointment press down on your chest until you can barely breathe. And then, ask yourself one question. Is this within my control? If yes, act. Immediately. Without drama, without self-pity. Just move. If no, release it. Not because it does not matter, but because suffering over what you cannot change is the most expensive habit a human being can develop. And most people spend their entire lives paying that price without ever realizing there was another option. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive. Seneca wrote his most important letters while knowing he was running out of time. He had angered an emperor. He knew the order could come any day. And still, he wrote. Still, he thought. Still, he chose to spend whatever hours remained on wisdom rather than panic. He wrote, Omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est. Everything is alien to us. Only time is truly ours. Think about how you spent your time last week. Think about how much of it you gave away to anxiety about the future, to replaying arguments that are already over, to scrolling through the lives of strangers looking for something you cannot even name. Think about how many hours you traded for nothing in return. The Stoics would not judge you for it, but they would ask you, how much more? How many more years will you hand over to things that do not deserve them? How long will you keep confusing motion with meaning, noise with purpose, busyness with a life actually lived? Because here is the truth that Stoicism has been trying to hand you for over 2,000 years. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your response to them, every single time, without exception. No matter what has been taken from you, no matter what has been done to you, no matter how unfair the hand you were dealt, the next move is yours. It has always been yours. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth while dealing with plagues, betrayal, military disasters, and the personal grief of watching his children die. He did not have an easy life. He had a disciplined mind, and he chose, every single morning, to return to that discipline. To write in his journal not for an audience, but for himself. To ask himself the same questions. What am I doing today? Am I living in accordance with my values? Am I letting the temporary shake the permanent? That is not superhuman. That is a practice. A daily, unglamorous, unsexy practice of choosing who you are going to be before the world gets a chance to decide for you.
So I am going to say something now that the world will never say to you. Something the algorithms and the comfort merchants and the people who profit from your insecurity will never want you to hear. You will lose things. Important things. People you love. Opportunities you worked for. Versions of yourself you were certain you needed to survive. You will lose all of it. Some of it slowly, some of it all at once, in a single moment that splits your life into before and after. And it will be one of the most important things that ever happens to you. Because loss is where the real self gets revealed. Not the self you perform for social media. Not the self you built for approval. The actual self. The one underneath all the protection and the posturing and the plans that fell apart. That self is forged in the fire of what you cannot control. And if you have the courage to stop running from it, if you can stand still inside the loss and ask, what can I do with this? You will discover something that comfort could never teach you. You will discover that you were never as fragile as you feared, that you were never as dependent on those external things as you believed. That somewhere inside the wreckage of what you thought you needed, there was a version of you that needed nothing to be complete. That was always capable, always enough, always able to begin again. The Stoics did not promise you a life without pain. They never tried to. What they offered was something far more valuable than comfort. They offered you a way to move through pain without being destroyed by it. A way to lose without being defined by loss. A way to face the worst that life can offer. And still, in the morning, rise. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. 3 men. 3 entirely different circumstances. 1 philosophy. And it carried all of them through everything. It can carry you, too. But only if you choose it. Every day. Not when it is easy, especially when it is not. The door is always open. The only question is whether you are ready to walk through it.